While Donald Trump is down on his knees before Putin, he's still freaking out because he just cannot sell what he's trying to sell. And they've tried everything to limit our access to information, including now satellite footage, anything he can, shutting down reporters, trying to arrest reporters now to get their sources of leaks coming from his department. And I've been looking at this for a while. I was going, okay, so why are they trying to weaken our military in the middle of a war? You know, why they fire the Iranian experts just before, right at the beginning of the war? Why did they fire the highest and most respected and most adequate general that we have? They keep doing this. And, well, I had not gone down the rabbit hole far enough. I had not, I did not have a research department at my hands. I do the news wherever I am, and I find out whatever I can, and then it got way worse. It got way worse than I was even seeing. But then Rachel Maddow broke it all down, and I'm going to play her piece because she does a way better job than I can. She's got, she's got a staff, she's got writers, all that stuff, but she does a great job. I like her job. So she breaks it down, and I'm going to show you this clip.
To think about the commander-in-chief maybe not being all there, right? Rambling, swearing, jumbled thoughts, changing deadlines, no explanation for what the war is for, no seeming understanding of what's happening in the war. But then beyond that, beyond his apparent incapacity to explain, let alone manage what's happening, on top of that, there's what he's simultaneously doing to the U.S. military, which has a little whiff of what he's done to the rabies lab at the CDC. I mean, the Fox News Weekend host Trump put in charge at the Defense Department just chose to fire the Army Chief of Staff, the top general in the Army, right in the middle of this war that we are not winning. He also fired the head of the Army Training Command and the Army's top chaplain for some reason. This comes after we lost the 3-star general who was the head of strategy for the Joint Chiefs, which came a couple of weeks after we lost the head of U.S. Southern Command. That came just days before we lost the Navy Chief of Staff and the head of U.S. Special Operations Command and the top U.S. Air Force commander. That came after we lost the head of the Defense Intelligence Agency and the head of the Navy SEALs, the Naval Special Warfare Command. That came after we lost the Chief of Staff of the Air Force and the aforementioned head of U.S. Cyber Command and the director of the National Security Agency. That came after we lost the chairman of the Joint Chiefs and the commandant of the Coast Guard and the vice chief of staff of the Air Force and the Army's top military lawyer and the Air Force's top military lawyer and. The strategic and even cognitive incoherence of the president and the defense secretary, those top civilian officials in charge of the military, those are worrying things, right? Less worrying, thankfully, when we can count on a professional, excellent, non-political, meritocratic military, right? If you can have lousy civilian leadership to an extent, if you can count on an excellent professional military to know what to do and to do it well despite bad leadership. But in this case, our country is simultaneously taking these wild swings directed by Donald Trump and Pete Hegseth with no apparent foresight about what kinds of consequences those swings will bring, while also Trump and Hegseth are fundamentally destabilizing the U.S. military itself.
Now, as bad as that all is, and more than I knew was going on, I just let that speak for itself. But the chaplain, I'm going to just focus on the chaplain for a second. Why would they fire the chaplain? Well, chaplains' jobs, whether in the military or in prisons, is to speak to everybody at their religious standpoint, in their religious beliefs, perform services for every person in their religious beliefs in the military. Chaplain's a huge job. It's way more than a preacher or a priest. You got to know all of the religions of all of the service people that you have, the rituals that go along with all of those religions, and respect all of those religions. I'm betting you they replace him with a hardcore Christian that's now going to ignore everybody else. Nobody else in the military serving our country will be allowed to go to the chaplain and pray, get blessed or benedictions or whatever they have in their religions, unless they're Christians. For the billionth time, we are not a Christian country. You can't make it a Christian country. We've got a constitution that says we're not a Christian country. The founding fathers, for all their faults, disliked religion, and several of them spoke really harshly about Christianity, and they called it stupid. Now, they're going to keep trying, but you can't make us a Christian country. It's in the Constitution. But I'm thinking that's why the chaplain was fired. All of the other people, because they make our military strong, and somehow they want to make our military weak because Trump is on his knees in front of Vladimir Putin. But let's see some bullshit that I hear every day from the Tangerine Palpatine. Well, roll the clip.
About reopening the Strait of Hormuz.
How do you know that? Why do you say that?
Are they reopening?
Why do you say that? You don't know anything. Who are you with?
NBC News, Philly Circuit.
ABC?
NBC.
Well, let's fake news.
Mr. President.
Let me just tell you, we win, no matter what. We've defeated their military. They have no navy. 158 ships are underwater, undersea. All of their minesweepers and all of their, they call them mine droppers. Can you imagine? A country has 28 mine droppers. You think that's nice? With all of that being said, they're all defeated, by the way. They're all at the bottom of the sea. Now, with all of that, they have no navy. They have no radar. They have no air force. Their leaders are all dead. Khomeini is gone. For many years, he ruled. He's gone. With all of that, let's see what happens.
Now, allow me to call bullshit. Because I have heard several stories, and I looked and I tried to find a picture or a video, but I did find stories about the Iranian Navy escorting ships that they allow through the Straits of Hormuz, even though they don't have a navy. It's gone. Well, the Iranian Navy was an ancient, inadequate navy, and it was largely taken out. The IRGC, which is Iran, but operates somewhat independently, well, they still seem to have stuff. So I did my diligent reporting duties, and I researched deeply and went right to Google and Googled it. What kind of ships does the Iranian Navy still possess as of mid-April? They have frigates. Frigates, pretty tough. Corvettes, that's a step up from frigate. Fast attack missile boats. Not that good at hitting those. Kilo class electric submarines. So cut off the oil, the Kilo class can still roll. Mini subs. They like subs. They got a lot of subs here. The Fatah class mid-size subs, amphibious assault vessels, and then they have these suicide skiffs that are disguised as fishing boats. They're full of explosives, and they just ram into the ship and go boom, and they say Allah Akbar, and then they blow themselves up. The usual shit. So they're pissing on our heads and telling it's rain, as they have been. And Mr. Dear President Dumbass, we are not stupid, and we have Google. And while you can block our access to satellites, we know the magic words. VPN. You know, you go watch the satellites all day, every day. The only people blocked from watching the satellites is America. But with a VPN, I could be anywhere in the world that does get to see that footage. So I don't think that's going to deter anybody. So we have fascism, absolutely. But it's like the Keystone fascists. They're not very good at their fascism. They're very low IQ individuals. They're not doing a good job suppressing us. Try hard. Well, no, don't try hard. Do better? No, that's not good either. It's absolute bullshit. We need to call out the bullshit every day, and we need to talk about the Epstein files. Because Melania brought it up, and now the legacy media had to bring it up again. They've been ignoring it. A lot of the independent media has been ignoring it. I need to personally, and all of my colleagues, do a lot more stories on the files. I actually accidentally said the entire word, but I'm just saying the files. Algorithm, all I said was files. Stop repressing me. Help, I'm being repressed. Michael Carell from the WTH News Network. If you like my take on the news and you want some more, follow, like, subscribe, comment, hit the alert bell so you know when you go live. Like I said last time, even if you're a hater, because I feel you. I feel you out there. And I know haters gotta hate, and that's your job. So if you want to hate on me more, subscribe and hit the little alert bell thing so you'll know when to hate. Okay? Don't hate. Masturbate.